Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another session of Tea and Hot Sauce with myself and Orlando. I believe Orlando's having a few connection issues, so hopefully he'll be in a little bit later on. In the meantime, I just wanted to take you through a couple of things that I'm looking at for today. First of all, gold. As you'll know from tuning in listening last week, I have been bearish on gold. Based on the breakout of the triangle pattern. It's a very messy triangle pattern, but we can see the triangle pattern there, and we've had a breakout from that. We also had a breakout from this horizontal level to the downside. Since then, we have put in a double bottom at this level here, and price has come up. Now, that doesn't automatically mean I'm going to start trading long. What it does mean is I'm looking for my next area to trade. It makes sense to me that my next area to trade in terms of just pure and simple chart analysis would be this level, which was horizontal support previously, that price broke through in order to get into this run to the downside, and now potentially could become resistance. So I'm waiting for price to get up to this level, and then I'm going to see how it reacts at this level as to whether I'll trade it back down. And how far I'll trade it back down, really, I'm going to be conservative with my trading. So I will be looking to take some profits off at around this area. It's a significant level of support. Price has stalled here just recently, and it would be safe to take some profits off there. Price may go through, in which case I'll make more profits. But if price does bounce, and perhaps we could even get trapped in a range here, there seems to be quite a lot of uncertainty in the market at the moment. So I am really looking to be conservative with my trading, cautious about price being trapped in ranges. And if I can take profit at this level, then if price gets trapped in a range, it won't at least put a dent in my account. So that's really what I'm looking for on gold. Silver is a fairly similar story. Let me just get silver up. So silver is a fairly similar story. It's broken through this level of support here, had a run to the downside. It's hit a low, and price is now coming back up. Now let's have a look just on the higher time frames to see what levels we have there. So we've got a significant horizontal level of support there. That's the level it broke down through. The next significant level of support really for me is this one here. So this, we've got a peak over here, and we do have also some support over here as well. So around that area, I'm expecting some support. It could be sooner than that because, of course, we do have a couple of previous highs. They're not really good horizontal levels because we've only really got one touch at each of these levels at the moment, but they could form into horizontal levels given that we don't have an awful lot of price action to go on in this area. So there isn't an awful lot of price action in this area that price is currently in either. On the weekly time frame, we really just have this previous high over here. That's pretty much it. So back to the time frame that I'm interested in trading on, it would probably be the 4-hourly, and that would be the next area that I would be looking for price to change direction. I'm just going to see if that works. Well, it's around the 50% retracement level on the fib. I don't use fibs religiously. I don't even use them that often, but sometimes it is just interesting to see how far price has retraced and where I'm expecting a return to trend. So that's something that I'm going to be considering on silver And it could be that it sets up at a similar time to gold. It could be that gold looks better than silver or silver looks better than gold at the time, and I choose to take one rather than the other. But that's my basic analysis at the moment on silver and gold. So I'll be looking on the 4-hourly time frame mainly and looking for price to come up to these levels in order to find a change in direction of some sort. So gold and silver are actually on my watch list. I'm also going to have a look at the NASDAQ and the S&P. Starting with the NASDAQ. Now, what we did have with the NASDAQ was we had this horizontal level here. Price was attempting to get down through that. We had a lower high on the daily time frame and lower lows. Since then, price has come back up. So the trading opportunities here for me are limited by the fact that really price is looking pretty rangy at the moment. So I can now pretty much draw a potential horizontal level in here. It's not a strong horizontal level. We've got to remember that we don't have much price action to go on. We don't have any historical price action to go on here. But price has hit resistance at this level. It has hit its head against this level a couple of times and come back off it. And what the result of that is price has ended up in a bit of a range rather than trend at the moment. I'm definitely no longer looking for shorts in the current price action range because I no longer have lower highs and lower lows. My lower highs and lower lows were here. That was my most recent lower high there. So from here down to here was a lower high. That from here down to here was my lower low. Since then, I've actually put in a higher low, slightly higher low there, and a slightly higher high up here. So I no longer have clear price action in any direction. I've got pretty much same low, slightly higher high, no real clear sequence of trending cyclicity here. So what this means is I'm probably not going to be trading on the NASDAQ right now. If I go to a lower time frame, I can actually see the potential for a trend to develop. And my bias at the moment is more bullish than bearish. Given that, just on this 4-hourly time frame, for example, I have a higher high here. It's come from a double bottom. I'm looking for a pullback. If price pulls back to this previous high, then there could be the potential to trade long. However, I'm still within this range. I've still got this level of potential resistance up here to worry about. I've got the monthly pivot above that now. The monthly pivot is going to be moving pretty soon, so it's not too much of a concern. But at the moment, trading long on this would have to be a short-term view. I wouldn't be looking to hold the trade. Possibly not even overnight, maybe, maybe 24 hours maximum. I would envisage this trade. I would literally want to be getting in at this level here, obviously waiting for my strategy to set up so that I've got the correct entry levels and stop loss placement and etc. And trading just a little way up, being very conservative about taking profit at that level. If it runs through, then I can leave part of the trade on for further profits, perhaps. Looking at the S&P as well. Now, the S&P, it's fairly similar, but I don't have price in the range. I don't have price trapped as much as it was on the NASDAQ. Actually, it's still lower highs and lower lows here. S&P is not something I'm particularly looking to trade long on because really for me, unless price breaks up above this previous high here, I'm still in a bit of a downtrend here. It's not a very strong downtrend, but I am still in a bit of a downtrend. So I'm actually looking for price to perhaps return to the downside here on the S&P. So It's very rare that I'll have a different opinion on the NASDAQ and the S&P. And in fact, what that does is make me feel even more cautious about potentially getting into any trades here. I'm going to be even more cautious, reduce the risk right down. It may even be that I don't see a setup and therefore I won't trade one. But I just thought I'd update you because I have been focusing quite a lot on the trading these two indices recently. So it's good to have an idea of which direction I'm thinking and why. Another thing that I wanted to perhaps point out, which I have been looking a lot at lately, is Aussie dollar. The reason I want to point out Aussie dollar is because, you know, for the last couple of months, last few months really, I've been trading that long. I now have a definite lower high here and a definite lower low, and I have price coming up towards that lower low. So in terms of a slightly longer term outlook, what I would be expecting really would perhaps be either price coming up to this previous low, bouncing and returning to the downside, or alternatively, I do have some support around this area here. That could turn into resistance, in which case price action right now could actually form a lower high at this point and return to the downside, in which case it's down to the lower time frames to see what I've got going on. So this is a level that I'm looking fairly closely at, and I'm just going to be monitoring price action. I need to see reversal first. I'm not going to just press sell here because I think it might go down. I need to wait for my strategy set up. But this is an area that I'm looking for shorts in. If I fail to see a short in this area, then the next area would be up here. And I'll again start looking for shorts in that area up there. So that's my, again, it's not a long-term view because this downtrend is not particularly well established yet, but it is a short-term view. There may be some shorter-term trades that I can take while I'm waiting for a longer-term trend to establish itself. So those are a few of the things that I'm looking at for today. It doesn't look like we have Orlando in the show. So we may have to close early today, unfortunately. Sorry about that. He does, those of you who don't know, he lives in an area with pretty remote and pretty bad internet connection a lot of the time. He does live in El Salvador, so we have to forgive him for the occasions when his internet is just not strong enough to be with us and be on live on social media with us. So apologies for that. I hope you found some of my analysis useful, and we will be back same time tomorrow. So cheers, everyone. We also have, in 30 minutes time, we have the usual, which is Jeff and Ash for the US session preview. That is in 30 minutes time. So if you grab yourselves a refreshment, a cup of tea or coffee, some lunch or dinner, depending on where you are in the world and what time it is, then in 30 minutes time, we will be back live on social media, on YouTube, etc., with the preview to the US session with Jeff and or Ash and or special guests as well. So that's something to look forward to. Cheers, guys. I will speak to you again tomorrow.